This is the first and possibly last episode of Albums I Seriously Love. Today we're going to be talking about a very special album to me. It's called Who Ate Stinky by the Grumpies. If you haven't heard this album, I definitely recommend it. I don't know what word I should use to try to describe the tone of this album. It sounds like it was recorded properly and then played back on a cassette player in a bathroom full of mattresses with a karaoke mic. It just sounds completely abrasive, explosive. But what's so neat about this album is that you have to almost learn to listen to it, because when you can actually hear what's going on and hear all the notes and the solos and everything starts to come together, you really can't get enough of it. This is one of those albums that I own on as many formats as I can. I don't have the tape for whatever reason, I never acquired that, but I do have the CD, which I just got from Recess a week or two ago. Originally I didn't have the CD version, I had the LP version, which I ordered from Recess in what must have been 2008 or 9. I listened to it on my turntable. My buddy Ryan actually got me turned on to this band when I worked at Pizza Hut. He was the manager there, and we started a band and had a lot of fun shortly after, but one of the first albums that he exposed me to was the Grumpies Who Ate Stinky, and I remember making pizzas, and I'd sit there with my hands all greasy. Whatever stack of CDs Ryan brought in that week were the ones that, I was going to slowly become accustomed to and exposed to, and at first I thought this was just undecipherable, like it was playing out of a tinny little, boombox thing. I eventually learned to decipher what was going on the album, and it became something that I was incredibly excited by, because there's an element of challenge and interpretation. I'd never experienced that with a band before. We were listening to it on a really cheap, crappy boombox over the sound of a really loud oven, so it was pretty hard to listen to at first. It was something that I enjoyed that confused people. Upon first listen, a lot of people don't really like it. I really, really liked it though, so it was fun to blast it and kind of freak people out. This is a really unique sounding band. They don't sound like any other band, and comparing bands to other bands is kind of silly, so I guess I lucked out because there's nobody to compare them to. At whatever speed you play this record on, it's going to sound like it's on the wrong RPM at first. Sometimes I even wonder if they mastered some of the songs at the wrong RPM. It is blazing fast and emotional and melodic. So obviously I'm going to talk about the artwork. I am seriously an album art fanatic. I love album art almost as much, if not as much, or potentially more than the music on the album. But I guess that's a little bit weird to love it more, but it's the only visual element that you get with an album. I find it incredibly exciting. Anyways, what we have pictured is clearly a hand selecting the skeleton of a sardine or anchovy of some kind, some sort of dead fish, possibly an acquaintance of the person. I don't know. It leaves a lot to the imagination. That is funny. This is funny. This is seriously the kind of thing that really gets my imagination going. I mean, who ate Stinky? Is this the culprit? Is this Who Ate Stinky? We don't know, but it's almost a story. Who ate Stinky? I'll mention that it's red because people tend to care about that. A couple other things that I'll mention are the White Trash Superman 7-inch, which I believe predates the Grumpies. I don't know if Recess put this one out or not. Actually, I'm pretty sure they didn't. Did It Ourselves Records. And then I also have the 7-inch, which is really cool. Both of these have songs from the album. The Who Ate Stinky. The world may never know. In conclusion, let's expose you to a high-quality playback of one of my favorite tracks, until somebody makes me take it down, which they probably won't.
Oh, Lord, it's dope seeing sleep with the son and his crazy little nymphomaniac wife.